In this video, I'm going to give you a specific SaaS idea with high revenue potential. We're going to actually build the thing live, and then I'm going to give you a roadmap how you can continue scaling this exact idea to the next level. So first, we're going to start with the idea phase, and I'm going to be giving you a description of the idea. We're going to evaluate it with a Spark framework. So we're going to actually find out how good of an idea this is and how big the market for that is. And then I'm going to talk a bit about who the ideal founder for this idea would be. And then we're going to go into the build phase. So first I will be giving you a mini PRD, and then we're going to be building the user interface for that. And then I will be doing the live build and actually providing you with the repository that you can later clone if you like this idea and want to continue building it. And finally, I'm going to give you the entire product roadmap. So the vision for this product, how it can expand. I'm going to give you a marketing roadmap to get your first customers. And then I will also elaborate on the actual revenue potential for this exact idea. All right, who is this video for? So this video is for aspiring entrepreneurs that want to build a 10K to 100K MRR SaaS. This video is also for freelancers and business owners. So maybe you already have a business, but are kind of looking for that next or new idea to scale your business. If you're new here, my name is Moritz. I have 10 years experience in tech with a product management background. I quit my job back in 2023 to start my own business. And now I have two SaaS. One of them is called Copycoder AI. It hit over 20K per month. And I also am working on Vireal now, which is at 2.5K per month. And I'm also the founder of the Product Warrior community, which is here to help beginners like you build and grow SaaS applications. All right, let's jump into the video. Okay, so let's start with the actual idea. I thought of this idea because I'm a creator and I'm actually struggling with this problem a lot myself. The idea is as follows. So I want to build an AI inbound brand sponsorship agent. It sounds like a lot, but I'll explain what that means. Basically, it helps creators and influencers to manage their sponsorship requests automatically. And the problem that I and many other creators have when you get to a certain size is that you get a lot of inbound sponsorship requests from brands that want to partner up with you and basically pay you for creating content for them. And the problem is that it costs a lot of time to go through these messages and actually filter out the brands that are legit and that are good to work with and that are matching to your target audience. So the idea is this would be a product that monitors inbound messages. So we will start with Gmail and later expand to monitoring the messages also from other social channels, like on Instagram, you can receive DMs, on TikTok, Twitter, and so on. Then it should use AI to detect the brand sponsorship requests out of these emails, because other types of emails can flow in there as well. And basically use AI to classify whether this is a brand sponsorship request. It will filter and organize these requests into a clean web app dashboard to just put everything into a nice view, so that you can easily manage it. And then it will help with decision making. So the first feature we're going to be building there, and there are more features that you can add to this later, but the first one is that we will add a one-click brand research and insights generator. So it will basically generate a deep research report on one brand to help you make better decisions whether this brand has the potential to partner up with you. And then this app later on can also help by saving time with replies via customizable templates and AI-generated drafts. Okay, now that we have a good understanding of the idea, let's actually evaluate it, right? Let's actually go through a framework and find out whether this is a good idea and whether there's a lot of potential for this idea. And to do that, we're going to be using something that I created, which is called the Spark framework. And it basically is a 5-step system to see if your idea is good and if it has a spark to ignite into a startup. And the first step here is scale, and we're going to look at the market size. And I've done some research into this. This whole startup is positioned, of course, inside in the creator economy market. When the creator economy grows, the market for your app will grow. And currently the creator economy market sits at 200 billion in 2025, which is already very big. And the best thing is it is actually one of the fastest growing markets globally. So you can see here the growth chart. It's projected to grow, and it is already growing extremely fast. So this is literally one of the best markets to be in. Let's look at some other stats. The number of influencers, which would be your target customers, that have over 10K followers. So I filtered it down to 10K followers because that's usually the point where sponsorship requests start coming in and it actually starts making sense to do some sponsorships, is currently around 15 million. So there are 15 million influencers worldwide that are basically your potential customer base. And this number will also continue growing because the creator economy is growing, right? There will be more and more influencers, and is projected to grow to 25 million by 2030. So this is a very good indication if everything is growing, because being in a market that is growing is one of the most important things for a startup. It just gives you the wind to grow, and it usually is the number one success indicator. Then I also looked at how subreddits in this niche are growing. So I looked at subreddit influencer marketing and Instagram marketing, and they're all growing really fast as well. So I used Gummy Search here to look at this. You can see here that the subreddit influencer marketing has grown yearly at 70%. There are a bunch of other subreddits in this same niche that have to do with influencers, that have to do with YouTubers, and all of them are growing. So that's also really good to see. Now, if we look at competitors, the interesting thing is, in a way, the main competitor to this startup would be the job of brand request managers. But once you get to a certain size as a creator, you actually hire brand request managers to handle all of this stuff for you. But now, because we have AI, we can actually replace this job, at least to a certain extent. Some people also hire agencies to do this. And then there are also a couple of platforms that are starting to do this. Passion Fruit is one of the bigger and successful ones. And this is actually a very good sign, because it means that this is healthy and it's a growing startup. So that means that there's really a market for this, and it's actually already validated. So that's great. Overall, I'm giving this category a score 10 out of 10. Okay, now let's look at the second category, which is pain. And basically, this category, you want to have a very painful problem, because the more painful a problem is, the more people will be willing to pay for that. So let's look at how painful this problem actually is. The main pain that you get as a creator is wasted time. And I looked into how much time creators actually spend on managing brand communication and negotiation and so on. And it's actually 9 hours per week. So that's really insane. It's more than a fifth of your time that you spend working is spent on this, if you're doing it yourself, if you haven't already outsourced it. Then there is another pain is that because you cannot deal with everything and it costs a lot of time to deal with it, you sometimes miss or have mismanaged deals, and that basically means a direct loss in income for the creators. So as I mentioned, the current solution is Brand Deal Manager, so it's an actual job, and the annual pay for a job is $84,000. So that is, in a way, the value that a creator that doesn't need to hire a brand deal manager because they have this software is saving. So it's, again, huge, right? And the other thing is also that creators that have their own hacked together solutions for this use usually just Sheets, Notion, or random folders in Gmail to manage this, which is also a very good indication. So overall, I would say the score for this is 8 out of 10. It's a quite painful problem, and creators would be willing to pay for this to get this problem solved. All right, let's have a look at the next category, which is adoption. So adoption basically tries to measure how often they would use your software, because the more often they use it, the higher you can charge. If they only need to use it once a month, it's kind of hard to charge for it. But if they need to use it, several times a day, then you can charge more for it. And also it just makes them more dependent on your software. This category is okay. It's not the strongest for this app. Basically, it depends on the size of the creator. If you're a smaller creator, you probably don't get that many requests, and so you won't need to use this app too much. If you're a bigger creator, then you might get multiple requests, and that will make you use this more. Although I do want to say that since the whole goal of this app is to save time, actually it doesn't need to be necessarily done in a way or measured in a way that you need to use this a lot, because ideally we don't want them to use this a lot. We just want them to get the right information from the AI agent, right? Anyways, I put the score of this category here at 7 out of 10. And then let's have a look at readiness, which is ease of launch. How easy is it actually to build this thing? And I would say it's relatively easy. There's no heavy engineering needed for this. We essentially need to set up a few integrations set up an AI classification and then just a simple dashboard. And again, I will be doing this later in the video, so stay for that. We can use off-the-shelf APIs and all of the existing AI APIs to make this fast. We can then expand later. We will start with Gmail and later we can expand to integrating with other platforms. So I gave this category here a 10 out of 10. I think it is relatively easy to build this. Okay, then let's look at the final category, which is kickoff, and basically how easy is it to market this? And I think it is relatively easy to market this. The benefit here is that we are dealing with creators. So creators, naturally, they hang out in a lot of communities. So they're very visible online. So it's also very easy to reach them and they're highly concentrated. We can use a lot of hooks that resonate, especially because there are a lot of pain points. We can actually use pain points as hooks to do marketing. And I would say ultimate benefit here is that essentially there's a huge amplification effect if you get this right. Because if you actually manage to get creators excited about this, creators have audiences, and if they talk about something, it's amplified. Like, this product can grow really fast if you make it a good product. And for that reason, I gave it a 9 out of 10. So the final score here is a 45 out of 50. Very, very strong idea. And I think this is, a very good startup idea to take and run with. All right, so let's go into the build next. Okay, we are now in the build phase and we're going to start with a mini PRD here. So I'm going to just walk you through the features that I was envisioning for the MVP of this, and then we're going to actually build this. And again, the goal is to help creators automatically capture, classify, and manage inbound sponsorship requests. So the core features are, we need an inbox integration. And the best way to do this quickly for the start is to just use N8N. We're just going to build an N8N agent that can quickly connect to Gmail. We can stitch together a couple of flows, and then there will be an AI agent that is classifying the emails. And then the emails that are matching as brand sponsorship requests will be forwarded to Supabase, which is our database, and stored there, because that's when we can later interact with it from the front end. Then we are, as I mentioned, we need the AI sponsorship detection, which is also inside of the N8N flow. For the front end, we're going to be using Next.js and ShadCN. So we're going to be building an actual UI for this in the front end. And we're going to be using code, or we're going to actually build this in real code. And the goal here is to basically show the sponsorship emails in a list view with a message area. And we should there also have the ability to trigger brand research reports, which are deeper research reports on a specific brand, to give the creator the ability to make better decisions. Then we're going to add authentication and basically sign in, sign up functionality. We're going to use Clerk for that. That makes it a lot easier. And then we're also going to add the brand deep research functionality. And for that, we will be using the Perplexity API, because that lets you easily trigger deep research reports. So to summarize, for the tech stack, for the front end, we're going to be using Next.js and ShadCN. For auth, we're going to be using Clerk. For the database, we're going to be using Supabase. And then we're going to use N8N in the beginning and replace that later with code. For the AI classification, we will also use N8N, and we will use the OpenAI integration within N8N. And then for the brand research functionality, we will use Perplexity. Okay, now the next step is to build the UI. So normally in a video, I would now probably jump to either using V0 or Lovable, or maybe even my own app CopyCoder to build the initial UI here. The thing is, I've already built this in a previous video, so I'm just going to link the previous video and you can watch the entire video there to see the entire process of building the UI. But essentially what you can see here, here's one screen. This is how I was thinking about designing the messages page. So here's where the filtered brand sponsorship requests would come in, and then you can actually click on them, and that's where you can see the actual messages. In this case, would only be emails for the start, and that's where you can then also reply to the brand's emails. And then there would be a page that manages all of the deep research reports. So you can trigger a research report on a brand, and then it will basically go off into the background, do this research for you. This is research that you as a creator would normally be doing on a brand, and in this case AI does it for you. And then when it's done, you will get these reports on these brands that you have triggered, and basically be able to open them up and get a bunch of information on this brand in a very quick way without spending much time on it. All right, and now we would normally be going into the build phase. So in other videos, I will be building this live, but as I mentioned, I've actually already built this idea in a previous video. So just have a look at that video if you're interested. I'm going to show you the finished result now. All right, I've got the code base opened up here. As you can see, we have the entire implementation of the app in here. We have inside of the app folder, there's the dashboard, which is actually houses all of the components for the actual application. Then there's also a public folder here, which has the sign in, sign up pages and has the main landing page, the public landing page. And then there's like APIs to manage the API requests and the components here as well. So this code base is very much I've spent quite a lot of time on this already, and now I'm basically giving it away. So I've run this application, so you can just go here into terminal, do npm run dev. By the way, I built this I use Claude Code to build all of this, and you can also just use Claude Code to continue building this. Okay, so to run this application, just run npm run dev in the terminal and then go into the app. And this is what the landing page right now looks like. It's not optimized yet. I just created a dummy landing page basically just to have the functionality working. You can optimize that later. When I click here, go to dashboard, there is a Clerk authentication working in the background. So this is all hooked up to Clerk. You would only need to enter your own Clerk credentials. Just open an account, enter your Clerk credentials, and then you see the messages page. If I click into the messages, this is just a dummy test message that I sent to myself, but you would basically see the messages here. And these are actual messages in my database. So this is fetching live data from Supabase. And again, if you're taking over this project, all you need to do is create a Supabase account and just replicate the database, just create 2 tables in the database basically, and just have it read from there. So it's very easy to take it further. This is the messages page. The next page is the reports page. If I actually, let me show you this. If I click on create brand report here, it opens up this slider, and then I can type in some brand like copycoder.ai and basically hit create report, and it will start creating the report in the background. And then I can go take me to reports. I think right now, because I disabled my API key. What essentially happens after you have created the report is you will see something like this. And this is a detailed report. Okay, this was a test one, so it didn't actually have the content, but this is a detailed report on the brand. It has details about this brand in this section, and then it provides some example content links, which you can then click on. And as a creator, you can then get better information on what kind of content does this brand post and what kind of content could I make for this brand. So this prompt here to get this report can definitely still be optimized. I haven't done much optimization on it, but you basically just need to optimize and test a bit what would give you the best and most useful results in terms of the report. So that's the current state of the app. Here's the GitHub repo, which again, if you get access, you can just clone it. Just go to clone, and then you can basically copy that command and just clone it and continue building it. All right, now for the final part, let's go into the roadmap. So I've shown you the build and what the app looks like. Now, how can you take it to the next level? Because I have my other SaaS that I am working on, so I'm not going to be continuing working on this project, but I wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to work on this if you want to take this idea. And so I've sketched out a product roadmap here. So this is essentially different phases where I think this product can go into. So phase 1 is actually what we already have now. So phase 1 is pretty much the current state of the app. And I said it takes probably 1 to 2 weeks normally to build this. It has a Gmail integration with N8N and Supabase. There's a Next.js and ShadCN dashboard, and there's a Perplexity API integration. Okay, so we have that. Phase 2 would then be to actually build the core product, make it ready for launch, and then launch it. And what you need to actually make this ready for launch. So you would need to replace, currently it is an N8N AI agent running in the background that is basically sourcing everything from Gmail and then putting it into Supabase. You would need to replace that and just put it into code. There is actually in the code base, I've already generated an entire plan for the AI to do that. So I was in the process of doing that, but I haven't actually gotten around to it yet. Then you would need to add payment integrations, and I recommend using Polar for that, rather than Stripe. It's just a bit easier to set it up with Polar. And then you would also need to build a marketing landing page for it. And then you're pretty much ready for launch. And phase 3 is then from like month 3 onwards is the expansion. So the next features here that would be good to launch are adding Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter DM integration so that you don't only get the messages from Gmail, but you can also actually get them directly from the social media platforms. Because one of the issues as a creator is that it's kind of spread out across the different platforms, right? The sponsorship requests, they come in from everywhere kind of. So if you can add integrations to all of these platforms, that will be a huge value add for creators. Then another feature that I think will be really useful is basically slowly transitioning this into a real agent. Like right now, the current MVP, it's kind of an AI application, right? There's some AI in it and it like helps you do some things faster because there's an AI integration, but it's not a true AI agent yet. And for it to transition into a true AI agent, it would need to be able to basically reply to some of these brand requests by itself, depending on how you configure it. And the way you can start this with a lean approach is to first add like automated reply templates. So as a user, I could basically add like a couple of templates how the AI can reply and just give it some direction. For example, very often when a brand contacts me with a sponsorship request, I will want to send them first my media kit, which contains my prices. So that could be one template. Like the user can define, hey, when the brand says this and this, then answer with my media kit, right? And you can take this much further, obviously. Eventually, you can add things like analytics. You can add things like brand reviews, so creators can create reviews of brands, and this can actually turn into kind of like in a way like a Yelp review for brands. And this can basically be a really good growth mechanism as well, because I know that creators are looking for reviews of brands, like which brands actually pay well, which brands are nice to work with, and so on. So this can all be public data. And down the line, you could even turn this into a kind of marketplace. So not just serve the creator side, but also serve the brand side and make it much easier for brands to contact creators, which is a huge pain also for on the side of the brands. So I think there are lots of expansion areas for this application, and that's why this is a perfect idea. It's easy to start, but there's a huge potential for this. All right, so how would I actually do the marketing for this? I created an entire marketing roadmap for you. So in phase 1, I would just target communities. As I mentioned, creators are in a bunch of communities. So in Reddit communities, for example, I would look for Reddit communities like YouTubers, TikTok help, influencer marketing. And inside of those communities, I would just like participate as a normal member, ask questions and then provide value and then drop this app as a solution when it's relevant. But don't like spam the communities. That usually doesn't work well. Try to add value, and then whenever you can add value by adding the link to your app as well, then you can do that. And for this phase, your aim is just to get 50 to 100 active testers for your app from these communities. So these are the people that are seeding your app, the first founding members, basically. Then for phase 2, you would want to start with your content strategy. For months 2 to 4, just go really heavy on short form content on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram, and target certain pain points that creators have. So for example, how I missed 5K in brand deals by ignoring my inbox, or how creators waste a bunch of time on sponsorship emails. And just build authority through posting on a consistent basis. The great thing nowadays with content, especially short form content, is that you can basically go viral from day one. Like you don't need a huge amount of followers anymore. If you hit the right content and make the right video, then the first video can hit 1 million views, and 1 million views will instantly mean like probably 1,000 paying customers or something like that. Maybe not quite 1,000, but you will get a lot of signups from that. And then phase 3 is to essentially scale your content, and you can do that by introducing an affiliate program and pushing that a lot. And I think an affiliate program fits really, really well to this product because it's targeting creators, and creators will want to post about this when they like it. And so if you give them this extra incentive with an affiliate program to basically let them earn while they also talk about the product that they like, this will just make it so much more likely that they will talk about your product. And the target here is to basically use this mechanism to scale to 5K paying users. All right, so finally, let's have a look at the revenue potential for this. And the revenue potential here is really big. So you can use a pricing model, of course, of a basic SaaS subscription. I would say you can start with a pricing of 15 to 30 per month per creator. And as I mentioned, the market size for this is 15 million creators worldwide. These are creators that have over 10K followers. And again, this is growing. So if you calculate the revenue potential here, just with 1,000 paying users, paying 20 per month, that's already 20K MRR. I think that is very reachable within the maybe first 3 to 6 months. And then if you look at 10,000 paying users at 20 per month, that would be a 200K MRR business. And even so if you look at the entire market of 15 million creators, if you just get 1% of that, that's like 15,000 paying users. So that's already, a over 2 million ARR business, which is insane. And I definitely think this idea is possible for a solo creator to do. So considering that, it is even better idea. I think there's also a huge upside to just increase prices, because this can also target agencies and it could evolve into a B2B product as well. It doesn't need to be only creators. Well, in a way, creators themselves are businesses when they get bigger. So you can definitely eventually charge higher prices for it as you add more features. All right, finally, just to show you this part, I kind of forgot to mention what the ideal founder for this would be if you want to take on this project. The ideal founder obviously is someone that in a way understands the creator economy already. So you would have an advantage if you understand the creator economy, and if you've encountered the pain points yourself of spending time on managing sponsorship requests and so on. And I think you need to have strong empathy for creator workflows and just basically understand the process around what happens there well, and know of the pain points that are happening. And if you have that, I think you're the ideal founder for this. If this idea sounds interesting to you and you actually want to take this idea to the next level, then I will be providing the entire code base inside of my school community. You can literally just take it, clone it, and continue building it from there. And inside of my community, I also provide support so that you can actually use this roadmap and use the support in the community to build this into a profitable SaaS business. I was trying something new with this video today. It's a new series that I'm planning to do more of. If you like this, please subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.